what we believe as Orthodox Christians, how we express our faith, we display in our churches, in our homes, sometimes in our cars, with the holy icons. See, an icon cannot represent anything but the true faith. Icon must reflect what we believe as Christians. And the focus of iconography, the focus of keeping icons in the church, was a long discussion over several centuries as to who is Jesus Christ. In fact, if you look around us today, if there are divisions from groups that have broken away from Christianity, it's usually their understanding of who is Jesus Christ. Some people say, you know, he was a God that came down on earth. He looked like a human being, but he really wasn't. How could God become man? Why would God become man? People could not understand that, and more importantly, they couldn't accept that. Other people said there is no way that God would become a human being. There's no way. And then there's others people that say he was a human being. That's all he was. He was a man that had superpowers, but he was not God. But we know that Christ is fully God and fully man. If he were not God, he could not have saved us. If he were not man, he could not have died. He had to be both. Now, I know you know how to do your cross, and every Sunday, every night, every morning, maybe you're driving on the freeway. I know I do it many times on the freeway. I do my cross. And we all know that we take our three fingers and press them together, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We take the other two fingers and we fold them over to remind us that Jesus Christ is fully God and fully man. So when we do our cross, when we just put our hands together, we are given a confession of the true faith. God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, one God, and Jesus Christ is fully God and fully man. So even, if you will, doing our cross is an expression of our belief, and in a sense, that's kind of like an icon too, because it's giving us a physical reminder of who God is. And the discussion began to develop over the centuries as to, could you paint a picture of Jesus? Those people that believe that Jesus was only God said there's no way. There's no way you can depict Jesus in a picture. Other people said to have a picture of Jesus is like having an idol. And the church discussed this and discussed this and discussed this. And it came up with the answer that because Jesus Christ truly became a human being, we can depict him in icons. We can show who Jesus Christ is to everyone, to the entire world. So there is another reflection, if you will, of the truth of our faith. That the icons are built upon what we believe as Orthodox Christians. It is a reflection of who and what we are as Christians. So we come to the icons now, and we see depicted in the icons Jesus Christ, this icon before you, and the Virgin Mary. It reminds us that Christ truly became a human being. It reminds us that he lived and walked upon this earth with us. It reminds us that as he became one of us, he did so to lead us back into the kingdom of heaven. He did that through his preaching, through his teaching, through his miracles, and most importantly, through his passion and his resurrection. Because Christ's death, and resurrection, because of that, he ascended into heaven, and he sits at the right hand of the Father. Jesus made a promise to his disciples. He said, when I leave, I will ask the Father to send you the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit came down upon the church. And he came down first upon the disciples, and at that point in time, the disciples were able to remember and understand the meaning of everything that Jesus explained to them. And it is through the grace of the Holy Spirit that we can have icons. For two reasons. First, the grace of the Holy Spirit works in the church. This is the receptacle of the Holy Spirit. I can't speak outside the church. We know where the Holy Spirit is. We do not know where he is not. But we know for sure that the Holy Spirit works in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. The Holy Spirit works in our church. So the church, guided by the Holy Spirit, together in council, comes together and says, icons are important in an expression of our faith. The second reason, or the second way the Holy Spirit works, is that it's the Holy Spirit that changes individual lives, each one of you. The Holy Spirit can touch your hearts and your souls, just like he touched the hearts and souls of the saints that we see in the icon. I think it was Father Neboisha was carrying St. Haralabos around the church. And we know a lot about him. In fact, the last time His Eminence was here, we had the feast day of St. Haralabos, a great priest martyr of the church, someone who was so moved and so profound and so deep in his faith in Jesus Christ, he gave up his life for Christ. He died for Christ. And because he did that, because the Holy Spirit was in him. The Holy Spirit had taken part of him and given him the illumination. And then we paint an icon of St. Haralabos because he's holy, because he's full of grace, because he has the presence of the Holy Spirit within him. We carry icons and we put them in our homes. We put them in our cars. Some people keep them in their Bibles to remind us of the holiness of others and to tell us that we too can be like those saints. Dimitri, who do you have there? Saint Alexandros of Alexandria? I can't see it from here. Saint Alexander, the Archbishop of Constantinople. That's Alexandros, a saint over there. Dr. Kokidis is a saint. So we have a saint like Saint Alexandros, different from Saint Haralabos, was a bishop and leader of the church, but he too possessed the grace of the Holy Spirit. You're carrying that icon today, correct? Your mission, and everyone that has an icon in their hands today, should be to try and become like the saint that's depicted in the icon. They were able to receive the grace of the Holy Spirit. They were able to use that power of God, if you will, to know God better, to become holy. They should be your inspiration. Michael, who's your patron saint?
The Archangel Michael.
The Archangel Michael. The Archangel Michael. Not really a saint in the sense of a human being, but one of the bodiless hosts. A creation of God that serves God with total commitment, 100%. As Father Neboisha would say, he's totally focused. Focus. You focus on God. That's what the Holy Archangel Michael teaches us, because he is there to serve God at his right hand all the time, to do what he tells him to do. Who else has a woman saint over there, one of the ladies? Girls, do you know what saint you have over there? Anybody have the Panagia? The Virgin Mary? Someone's got, there it is over there. Mrs. Blockwitz has it. We have the wonderful and important example of the Panagia. Tomorrow is her feast day. Well, tomorrow is the feast day of the Annunciation. It's one of her many feast days. But at the Evangelismo, at the Annunciation, she humbly and obediently accepts the will of God again, an example for us. This Sunday of Orthodoxy, this celebration is a celebration of what we have been given as Orthodox Christians and what we can strive to attain as Orthodox Christians. We have been given this treasury of wonderful faith, all these wonderful gifts, all these wonderful things. The Church, Holy Communion, the writings of the Fathers, the saints, the icons. And it gives us, if you will, the tools to take that and make that our own, and for us to become like the saints, to become like the people that are depicted in the icons, to become like your patron saint, to become holy as God is holy. Today we honor the triumph of Orthodoxy. It is the triumph of the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ that we celebrate here today. And we encourage you and we invite all of you, each and every one of us, young and old, to embrace that, to make that our own, and to use the examples that we see in the icons as examples for our own salvation, our own sanctification, our own hope of life eternal. God bless you.